Senator Cardin.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and let me thank our witnesses. Army Corps projects are critically important to my state of Maryland, and we recognize the challenges with project partnership agreements. So, Senator Ricketts mentioned as many the loss of opportunity because of the affordability and risk factors that we're not able to take full advantage of the opportunities of the Army Corps projects. I want to take it from a little bit different angle. These projects, in many cases, have also national significance. It's not just the local benefit of the project to the entity that is submitting the project, but also to our nation. The Chesapeake Bay, I've talked about many times in this committee. It's a national resource. It's a national treasure, largest estuary in our hemisphere. And it's endangered, and it requires constant attention. So we've had Army Corps projects with partnership agreements to deal with the Chesapeake Bay. The largest, from the point of view of the economic impact, was Poplar Island. It was novel at this time. The first environmental restoration using dredge materials in order to restore an island on the Chesapeake Bay. If you go back 100, 150 years ago, there were several habitable islands in the Chesapeake Bay. They're almost all gone because of erosion and weather circumstances, et cetera. Poplar Island at one time was habitable. It was down to just a few acres, and we restored it through using a dredge material, through an Army Corps project, through a project partnership agreement. And it is critically important for the economics of our region because we're keeping our harbor and the channels dredged at the proper level and having a place to dispose of the material that is not only without controversy, it's popular. People want it. But at the same time, we're restoring an environmental island that is now a major area for migratory birds. It's restored wetlands, which are critically important to filter the pollution in the bay. And it has just all these positive impacts. Now, we're just about at capacity at Poplar Island. We now have Mid-Bay, and Mid-Bay is now moving forward, another island that disappeared, that will be restored, that will have benefit for the economics of the ports that are through the channels, but will also have a major impact on our commitment to our environment moving forward. So, Mr. Hague, I asked you this question. Yes, I'm sensitive to the needs of easing the liability requirements, but shouldn't there be special consideration given to those projects that have a national significance, such as environmental restoration? I know that the Nature Conservancy, that's your mission. Shouldn't we be having some considerations given in these partnership agreements when there is more than just the local benefit from the project?
Senator, thank you for the question, and thank you for your championing the Bay. You're exemplary in that role, and certainly we've worked with you and your office over the years on a variety of Chesapeake Bay work with the Corps. Nature Conservancy has been involved in oyster restoration in the Bay for many years with Virginia DNR and Maryland DNR and Virginia Marine Resources, and that's a global model for how to do oyster restoration. The reusing dredge material, like you said, is an excellent opportunity to align where that dredge material is coming from in the Bay versus where it should go or can go for a lot of the multiple purposes that you've identified. So we appreciate your support for all those options with the Corps in the Bay. You know, on your question, there certainly are examples of Congress looking at restoration projects and saying it is of national significance and should be a federal function and making those costs 100% federal. And you know, as you were thinking about reforms to the PPA, that could be a way to look at it. That a lot of these projects are unique. Some of them are of these national significance and may be very amenable to the kind of approach you're talking about for nationally significant eco projects.
And I might point out, oyster restoration is another good example where we use partnership agreements. Blackwater, trying to restore wetlands in Blackwater through the use of dredge material. All those are Army Corps type projects that could be subject to considerations as to its importance to our nation, not just to the local community. Blackwater is a national refuge, so it's not really local from that point of view, and we will be looking at those types of considerations. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Cardin, thank you very, very much for not just for joining us, but for being a valued, highly